Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Trout, who are you looking for?
Jennifer Campos and Katie Larson.
Okay, then I will call cause number. We're here today for our final in this case. We are conducting this through Zoom under finding good cause and agreement of the parties. We are live streaming. And Miss Cherry is making our record this morning. Okay, well, duck announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We're present, ready, Your Honor.
Stacy Grant on behalf of Anar Akubar, Judge. My client is not present. I did attempt to have her present. From the law library at the East Texas Treatment Center this morning that they were still working on that, but I don't think it's going to be successful. They were having to wait for a supervisor, so. But she has not, Your Honor, sent in the affidavit of voluntary relinquishment that we were hoping to get. And I believe at the last hearing, Mr. Trout requested to proceed without it since we were just unable to get the process navigated.
All right. Yeah, we pushed this out a few weeks in hopes of getting that done, but obviously if we haven't gotten it, we need to move forward because we are we're in a call and recess, aren't we?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah.
And in my communications, Your Honor, I did communicate that there was a timeline on this, that once it passed, the court would have to continue with the hearing. So I did make that known.
Okay. All right then. Okay, I'm looking back real quick then. All right, we called the case. Let's see, it looks like back on February 25th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let me look back at this. I think Mr. Trout, you had called Ms. Larson.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you indicated that you took we took really brief testimony from her, and then that we were going to recall her at a later time.
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
called Ms. Campos, who offered some testimony with respect to the father.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's about where we recessed. So are you wishing to recall Ms. Larson first?
I will, Your Honor. We also at a later date, I believe it was the 318 recall of this hearing. We also put Ms. Campos on and proved up the relinquishment on Dad on that day.
And Your Honor, just to finish up announcements, Stacy Zavala for Ellery.
All right, correct. And I'm looking back at my docket entry. So yes, we did recall he had relinquished.
Okay.
That's when we found out mom had been transferred to the ISF facility, and so we proved up on Mr. Hill's client that day. And with the understanding that he would not need to return. He was logged in a minute ago, but he's fallen out now. So
Okay.
well, he's coming back in. We'll clarify whether he wants to stay today or not. All right. And then we reset to take up the rest of the case regarding mother.
Yes, ma'am. And Your Honor, I think I know the answer to this question. I just want to put it out there. I know when we proved up on Dad, everybody stipulated to the affidavit, but since we're proceeding on the grounds, I'm gonna need to put on Ms. Larson again, correct? Okay.
Yeah,
sure on that.
I believe so. Unless everybody stipulates to that as to mom.
I would ask if everybody would, but we'll see.
I have no objection to that.
I have no objection, Your Honor. I had to think it through for a minute, but I have no objection.
Okay. All right then, Mr. Hill, we had wrapped everything up with respect to your client, other than just ruling on everything, and indicated if you had a conflict or a problem today, you wouldn't need to return. Are you okay with your time hearing today?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
And just to make sure y'all are in receipt of the relinquishment, is that right? I want to make sure I forwarded that. Okay, Daniel shaking his head.
Yes, sir. And we
Yeah.
proved that up. I put it into evidence and proved that up on the 18th of March when we recalled the case once, Mr. Hill.
That's what I thought, but I just want to make sure. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it was offered and admitted at that time. All right then, so for the record, then Ms. Grant has stipulated to the content of the affidavit in support of removal, the facts contained therein with respect to her client. We had done that with respect to Mr. Hill's client, but I think it was really targeted towards Mr. Hill's client, and I'm not sure that Ms. Grant had just globally agreed to that at that point in time, but she has indicated today that she will stipulate to the content of that affidavit. So I'll take judicial notice of that and the contents of that affidavit regarding the reasons for removal and the efforts of the department to avoid removing the child, and that all said and done, it was in the best interest of the child to remove at that point in time. All right then, Mr. Trout.
With that, Your Honor, I hate to do this to Ms. Larson, but I don't need her for the testimony today, so she's free to go about her day. I know she's shown up every time for us, so I appreciate it, but I won't need her today.
All right, counsel, any other objection to release?
No
No,
objection.
No objection.
Okay, Ms. Larson, thank you once again so much. We really appreciate you.
All right, thanks.
Okay,
Thank you,
have a great day.
You too.
All right then, Mr. Trout, you can call your next witness.
Call Jennifer Campos, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Campos, you're still under oath. You gave some brief testimony in this matter a while back, but you're still under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Campos, do you have the exhibits that I sent out in front of you?
I do, yes.
Okay, all right. Can you look at, pull up exhibit number 5 for me?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell me, do you recognize that document?
Yes, sir, I do.
And what is that document?
It's the notification of the family plan of service that was sent to the court to be filed.
Okay. And is this a family plan of service that you drafted?
Yes, sir.
And does it appear to be an accurate copy? Have there been any changes to it?
There's not been any changes.
Okay. Was this copy filed with the court?
Yes.
Okay. And were these family plans of service, were they made orders of the court?
Yes, sir, they were.
Can you tell me, describe to me what a family plan of service is?
A family plan of service is to help the family and provide services to them in order to get their children back in their care.
Okay. And that was all done in this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this exhibit number 5 is a family plan of service for which parent?
For Sala Omar.
Exhibit number 5?
Uh-huh.
Let me make sure. Hold on. Let me see. When did the exhibits you have pulled up, when were they sent to you?
They were sent to me on February 24th, unless
Okay.
you sent me other ones.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have the exhibits that were sent out on March 18th?
Give me just a second. I apologize. Right here. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We'll go back through these questions since we were looking at different.
Okay. I apologize.
I sent out different ones. Do you recognize that exhibit number 5?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And what is that exhibit?
It is a family plan of service for Ayan Abikar.
Okay. And was that family plan of service filed on April 17th of 2024?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recognize this document?
I do. Yes, sir.
Has it been changed or altered in any way?
No, sir.
And were you the one who drafted this document?
Yes, sir, I was.
Okay. In the family plans of service, Did you give mom a copy of these?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Did you go over it with mom?
I did. Yes, sir.
Was mom on an understanding of what she was supposed to work?
Yes, sir, she was.
Okay. In this family plan of service, what services was mom asked to do?
Housing, stability, employment, parenting classes, social support system, an OSAR assessment, drug screens, a psychological, individual counseling, and intimate partner violence through family support services. Contact with the department and comply.
Okay. And the mother, Ayana Abukar, was aware of what services she was to work, correct?
Yes, sir, she was.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 5. It's the family plan of service that Ms. Campos just testified to.
Any objection?
No,
No
ma'am.
objection.
All right, petitioner.
Your Honor, may I do not have the exhibit in front of me, and could I just ask before I don't object whether that is signed by Ms. Akbar?
Sure.
This one was not signed by her.
This one.
Okay. So I would object to it as not the relevant signed service plan that was admitted by Ms. Akbar.
And Your Honor, I believe under case law, family plans and under statute, family plans do not have to be signed by the parent. They don't have to agree to sign them, but these were filed with the court and made in order of the court in this case.
I'll overrule the objection and we'll admit
Thank you,
petitioner's
Judge.
exhibit 5 is the family plan of service that was created and filed.
And is this one admitted, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I said
Okay.
that. Did I not?
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you
Yep.
just overruled the objection. I didn't hear the other. Sorry.
No, I wrote it and I think I admitted it.
Okay.
Let's make sure. Miss Cherry, did I say I admitted it? Okay.
Sorry, Your Honor.
She's the gatekeeper, so.
Ms. Campos, do you recognize exhibit number 6?
Yes, sir, I do.
And can you tell me what that is?
That is the status hearing order, and the notice of the next hearing.
Okay. And can you tell me, did you appear at this hearing?
I did, yes, sir.
Okay. And during status hearings, is that where family plans are made in order of the court?
Yes, sir, they are.
And in this case, was this or family plans of service made in order of the court at this status hearing?
Yes, sir, they were.
Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 6. It's a file marked copy of the status hearing order that Ms. Campos testified to.
No objection.
No objection.
I didn't hear Mr. Hill. Any objection?
No, ma'am.
All right, petitioner's exhibit 6 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Campos, during the course of this case, how did mom do as far as working her services?
She only completed one service, which was the psychological evaluation. I tried several times to get her set up with parenting classes. She would log in and then say that nobody was there. So she did attempt to try and do them, but she never completed any. I tried several times to get her into individual counseling. I tried to get her to go to the intimate partner violence classes, and she never made any attempts to those.
Okay. So we'll just walk through them real quick. Her housing stability, how was it throughout the case?
In the beginning, she did have stable housing, but then she got evicted from the house and then had nowhere to go. She ended up in Nebraska with or Montana, sorry. She ended up in Montana with a friend, and then they found her in Nebraska, and that's when she was extradited back to Texas.
Okay. Do you know who she was living with in Nebraska? Did you talk to her about that?
Her mom.
Okay. And you stated that she tried the parenting classes, but was never able to get those completed, correct?
Correct.
What about her support system?
She does not have a good support system here in Texas. All of her family resides in Nebraska, and it looks like the only support system that she has maybe is her mom. But other than that, nobody.
Okay. Did she ever complete her OSAR assessment?
She did not, no, sir.
Did she drug screen for you?
She did screen for me when she was court ordered. I can't remember, probably the permanency hearing, the first permanency hearing when she was court ordered. She did, but she never drug screened after that.
Okay. And you stated she did do a psychological?
She did, yes, sir.
Were there any recommendations from that psychological?
There were recommendations of her to take specific parenting classes to better help her understand, what it would take to take care of Aaliyah.
Okay. And since she did not do the normal parenting classes, did she complete these under the recommendations?
No, sir, she didn't.
Did she do her individual counseling?
No, sir, she did not.
Did she ever start or initiate her domestic violence support group?
No, sir, she did not.
Did she stay in contact with you throughout the case?
Yes, until probably September, October probably is when she really fell off.
Of 2024?
20, yes, sir.
Okay. When you say fell off, what do you mean?
I could not get a hold of her. I tried to call her several times. I tried to text her. She would never respond to me. The last time I talked to her, she was in Montana, and that was the last time I heard from her. She never responded after that.
Were you able to speak to her when she was incarcerated here in Potter County after that?
I did one time, and the second time I went to see her, she refused to see me.
Okay. And when was that?
I don't know the exact date. Probably January, February.
Okay. Overall, did mom comply with her family plans of service?
No, sir, she didn't.
When we've been in this case for a little over a year now with the recesses, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When was the mother's last visit with the child?
The mom has not attended any visits with Aaliyah at all
Throughout the whole case?
throughout the whole case.
To your knowledge, is mom able to provide adequate shelter and necessities for the child?
No, sir, she's not.
A safe place to live?
No, sir.
And she has not visited the child throughout the life of this case?
Correct.
Where is the child placed now?
The child is placed in a foster home.
Is the foster home a long-term placement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are they willing to adopt
Yes, sir, they are.
if the child becomes available?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Placements met the child's needs?
Yes, sir.
Cared for the child?
Yes, sir.
Given her a safe place to live?
Yes, sir.
Where is mom currently?
Mom is currently in ISF in Henderson, Texas.
Okay. And do you know why she is in ISF?
She had a probation violation, and they sent her there for the probation violation.
Okay. Do you know what charge she was originally arrested on?
Assault on a public servant.
Okay. Your Honor, I would ask to admit, and I'll do them in a group if that is okay. It is exhibits 7 through 12. Exhibit 7 is a certified copy of the indictment on mom for the assault of the public servant. Exhibit number 8 is a certified copy of the order deferring adjudication. Exhibit number 9 is a motion to proceed with the adjudication of guilt, certified copy. Exhibit number 10 is an amended motion to proceed with the adjudication. Exhibit number 11 is the defendant's plea on the community supervision revocation. And exhibit number 12 is the order on the revocation, Your Honor. And those are all certified copies.
Okay, any objection to 7 through 12?
No objection.
No, ma'am.
No objection.
All right, petitioners, exhibit 7 through 12 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Campos, you said you have not had any contact with mom since January or February when she refused to see you?
Yes.
Have you tried reaching out to her since then, though?
When I would go to Potter County, I would ask to see her and she just would refuse to see me.
Okay. And was that monthly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you been able to make contact with her or try to make contact with her since she has been in ISF?
No, sir, I have not.
Okay. Do you know if you, with the ISF program, if you attempted to, would they let you through to speak to her?
I'm not sure. I've never dealt with ISF, so I'm not for sure if they would or not.
Okay. All right. And she was transferred to ISF right after the first calling of this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Campos, are you asking the court today to terminate the parental rights of the mother, Ayan Abukar, as to the child based upon her failure to work services?
Yes, sir, I am.
And also based upon her constructive abandonment of the child?
Yes, sir.
And you testified earlier the child is in a good, loving home that is willing to adopt?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe that it's in the best interest of the child to terminate these rights and allow her to be adopted?
Yes, sir, I do.
And we took testimony on this earlier, but just to refresh on it, you're also asking to terminate the parental rights of the father based solely upon his affidavit of voluntary relinquishment
Yes, sir.
and willing to waive all other grounds as to dad.
Yes, sir.
And do you believe that's in the best interest of the child?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Grant, any questions?
Very few, Judge. Ms. Campos, have you had cause to look up Ms. Abukar in the Texas inmate search recently?
Yes, ma'am, I did. And
As part of reviewing that publicly available website that's maintained by the state, would you have any reason to disagree with me that she currently has no projected release date?
correct.
And is that because, do you understand that that is because that program will go until they feel she has resolved her issues that she's in custody for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And there was just one additional question. Do you believe that the service plan that you provided to Ms. Akubar was narrowly tailored to address the reasons for removal in the first place?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And do you believe if she would have completed those services, that they would have been sufficient to successfully reunify the family, possibly in the end of this case?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. And how's the child doing?
She is doing very well. She's growing. She is doing amazing.
And is it in the best interest of the child that the mother's rights be terminated, even though she has not returned her voluntary relinquishment, as she indicated?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Do you have any reason to disagree or strike? Let me restate that. Does it surprise you that Ms. Akubar has stopped responding to mail and has not returned any of the items that have been mailed to her by the people involved in this case?
No, no, ma'am.
Has that been your experience as well in the past 4 to 6 months?
Yes, ma'am.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hill, any questions?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Zavala?
I have no questions.
Okay, Mr. Trout, anything further from Ms. Campos?
Just one quick thing, Your Honor, to refresh. Ms. Campos, as to dad, at the first calling of this final, we admitted in the DNA evaluation showing that Mr. Omar was the father to the child, correct?
Yes, sir.
And on top of asking for termination on his parental rights, you're also asking the court to adjudicate him as the father.
Yes, sir.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Anybody have any other questions for Ms. Campos?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, does the department rest?
Department rest, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Grant, anything to present today?
Nothing to present, Your Honor. I will be filing with the court copies of the certified letter receipts that we made in an attempt to provide the relinquishment to the mother. We did not receive it back, and we did not receive any cooperation in our attempts to make telephonic contact.
Very well. Okay, do you rest?
Yes, Judge, I rest.
All right, Mr. Hill, anything today?
No, ma'am, rest.
All right, Ms. Zavala, anything to present?
No witnesses, I rest.
Okay, Ms. Zavala, do you have a recommendation?
I do, Your Honor. I do believe it's in Aaliyah's best interest for parental rights for both parents to be terminated at this time. She is in the placement she's been in since the beginning. She is thriving, and I look forward to her future. I do believe all of this is in her best interest.
All right, thank you. Then at this time, I am going to adjudicate the father, Salah Omar, as the father of the child and establish the parent-child relationship between the two of them. I find by clear and convincing evidence it's in the best interest of the child to terminate the parental rights between the child and Salah Omar, and under his voluntary affidavit of relinquishment of parental rights under the K grounds, and the best interest under 161.001 subsection B2. I likewise find by clear and convincing evidence it's in the best interest of the child to terminate the parental rights between the child and her mother, Ayan Abukar, based on Texas Family Code section 161.001 subsection B1, the N and the O grounds, and the best interest under B2. At this time, I will name the Department of Family and Protective Services as the permanent managing conservator of the child. I'll dismiss all court-appointed attorneys with the exception of Ms. Zavala, who will remain as the child's attorney ad litem and guardian ad litem. And that will occur after the appropriate de novo and appellate timeframes have expired. Counsel, as always, if you're instructed to file a notice of appeal, please wait to do that until a final order has been signed and adopted by the referring court. And also be mindful, of course, of your de novo timeframes since I've rendered an open court. For those still involved, our next review hearing on the child will be on July 10th of 2025. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. All right. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so everybody. I know this has been, hard to get to the finish line. And so I appreciate everybody's cooperation in getting these reset dates and making sure that we got this done. So I appreciate you all very much, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Thomas.
you, Judge.
Thanks.
We appreciate the opportunity to try to get the relinquishment. I apologize it was not successful.
All you can do is try. I mean,
Yeah,
some
thank you.
of these units are more cooperative than others, and they can't force them to open their mail or sign things. So,
Right. Well,
I
thank you,
understand.
Judge, for the opportunity.
Yep, no problem.
Have a good
All
day.
right. You all have a great day. For a status hearing, we're conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We're live streaming, and Ms. Cherry is making our record today. All right, we'll take announcements.
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Cassie Coppig is my permanency specialist. We are present ready, Your Honor.
Brooks Barfield, attorney for mom, Missy Rosari. I don't necessarily anticipate her being on here, but she might show up since it's 20 minutes later than the other hearing was scheduled. So ready to proceed.
She is not in the waiting room. Just
Okay. I'm ready then.
All right, Mr. Taylor. You are muted, so if you are there and speaking, we can't hear you. All right. He is logged in. I've got good connection with him. I know he was having trouble the other day on Tuesday because they were moving their offices or something like that. And okay, Mr. Taylor, if you can hear me, we cannot hear you, but I do show that you're logged in and present. You may be having an audio problem. So can you hear me now? I do show you're unmuted, but I'm still not hearing you. I'm just hearing some static. Maybe log out and log back in. All right, I'm going to remove him and see if he'll log back in. Okay, while we're waiting on him, Ms. Vala.
Your Honor, Stacy Zavala for Jaquan.
Okay, I'll watch for him. See if we can't get him logged in. So, Ms. Kopic, if you want to go ahead and start giving us an update, that would be great.
So I haven't been able to meet with either parent yet. I did call Missy, who lives in California. She texted me back, but was just like, well, what am I supposed to do? I haven't had him since he was 3. And then I went by the dad's house yesterday to see if I could talk to him, but whoever, the guy that answered the door said that he was at work and he would have him call me. I didn't prepare the family plans, the worker from Kaufman County did. So I don't even know if it hasn't been signed. So I don't know if it's been went over with them. And then, Jaquan's in a residential treatment center. He doesn't like it. He wants to be moved somewhere else. I told him I could put in a placement request, but without an active discharge, you know, it's probably not going to be a priority. And then he wants a placement that will, you know, let him be himself. You know, he wants to wear girls' clothing. He's trans. I don't know that there's necessarily a place that would be accepting of that or any more accepting of that as well. So, but I did tell him I could put in a placement request for something different.
So I know this was transferred in, like you said. We don't have signatures on service plans, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
But we have service plans that have been filed and everything for today's hearing.
Correct, Your Honor. They were filed on April 16th.
Yeah, okay.
And Your Honor, just for the court and a ask from the department, since this case was transferred in, the adversary hearing was done in the other county before it was transferred. From what we saw, they did not redirect child support and medical support to the department. There's a prior order for mom to pay child support and medical support, and then there was a joint managing between paternal grandmother and mom originally, with dad as a possessory. Grandmother passed away, I believe, last year. There's I believe another order that specifically states mom is still to pay child support and medical support. So that we are asking that be redirected to the department.
Just child support, or was there some medical support?
Medical support also, Your Honor.
Okay. You may have said that and I just missed it. I'm sorry.
That's right.
So in the temporary order that they entered, there was no mention of that.
Not that we saw, Your Honor.
Okay.
So we have added it into this order and we would be asking for it today.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Kopic, anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, Mr. Barfield.
I would just, obviously, I have not had contact with their client. We reached out. We did not get a response. I would like if Miss Kopic, if she can either put it on the chat or send me an email just to make sure I have the same phone number she does so that I could reach out to my client and see whether she wants to participate in this case or not, based on her responses as related by Miss Kopic. If not, I'm going to broach the subject of a voluntary relinquishment with her. I'm sorry, I'm cutting all the way to the chase this early in the case, but based upon the reports I've read, it doesn't appear that at this point we have any family that's willing to or able, I guess, to take care of this kiddo. So that's kind of the direction I'm headed. Now, if she wants to participate, I'll try to get her involved. She's out in California, the last information I had, so it may be difficult. That's all I have.
All right, I appreciate it. I mean, he's 17, so I mean,
Yeah.
we're kind of in a cut to the chase position,
Yeah, it's kind of what I,
frankly,
yeah.
you know. So I, if she, tells us that she has no interest in participating in any of this, then let's see if we can't get that done.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
I think that would be, I mean, and I think that would be best and probably better for this child as well. If he's going to be careful for a bit. I just need to make sure that I have the right contact information. Thank you very much. I just got it. That's all I got, Judge.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, we got Mr. Taylor logged back in. Mr. Taylor, can you hear us? I still cannot hear Mr. Taylor, so I don't know whether he's hearing us. Again, I show he's connected to audio. So, Mr. Taylor, we basically got an update from this Copic with St. Francis. She's not had contact with either parent. She's made attempts. Father wasn't home, and she left information for him to call her back, which I don't think has happened yet. Mr. Barfield's going to attempt to talk to his client and see if she's interested in a relinquishment. And that kind of summarizes where we're at this point in time. So, Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, I was able to have a long Zoom meeting with Jaquan. He does want to move placements. First preference would be a foster home. He and I discussed level of care and how that affects, what placements are available to you. I do believe, just like almost all of our children, that a basic foster home would be a great fit for him. So I would love for us to be looking for something like that. He did indicate that he wanted to move residential treatment centers. I had a long talk with him about that as well. This treatment center is actually in Dallas, but it's one that I've been to physically. It's one that we have a good connection with the treatment director. I feel good about him there compared to the other options that are out there for him. I understand that he would like someplace with more freedom, and I agree in terms of looking at a foster home. But school is also a big issue for him. They do on-campus school. They have the ability to go faster. If he cannot move to a home, I actually think it's in his best interest to stay where he is for right now, at the very least through the end of the school year. But I do want to be clear, he is requesting to move placements. He also needs his personal documentation. I've already let Cassie know that. I know she's already working on that. The other issue is he thought he was in 11th grade. Now he's in 10th. Sounds like the records show he's in 10th. Again, another reason to leave him where he is, where they can possibly accelerate him based on where he is and where he needs to be based on his age. And then he believes there may be some sort of Social Security claim out there. In his description, to me, it didn't make a whole lot of sense, but I'm going to reach out to our Social Security connection at DFPS and see if they can check and see if there is any kind of claim out there for him, so that I can answer him one way or the other. But he is safe and well at his placement, but he is hoping to move at some point.
Did he indicate why he thought he had some kind of injury or something to a parent?
I kind of walked through it with him, and it does not sound like it's based on a disability. He believes it's a death benefit because of a grandmother who he thought had legal custody of him, and so something like that. So I've got her name. I've got some information that they can run to double check that. Just the numbers he was talking and what he thought was out there didn't make sense and didn't really add up. And I let him know that, but I let him know that I would absolutely check to see if anything's out there. So I do have the name of the grandmother that he believes these benefits are linked to. And I'll be getting that over to Mr. Badke.
Is that Miss Sanders?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it used to be that without the adoption, I don't think he would have been in line for that, but just as a managing conservator, but maybe that's changed.
And that's what I
Yeah.
told him as well, that was my belief. But I figure it doesn't hurt for anybody to run a search on that.
No harm in that. So I appreciate you trying to run it to ground. Okay. All right, then, today, then I'm going to continue the department as temporary managing conservator. I would find that there would be a continuing danger to return the child home today. Department will continue to use reasonable efforts to reunify the family. I'm going to order the service plan as an order of the court. And I have no objection to St. Francis trying to find a less restrictive placement for Jaquan, because I can certainly see this going into a PMC kind of situation. Until we really find something that is maybe a longer term, much better situation. And I agree with Ms. Zavala. I mean, he's in a place where maybe he can get caught up in school. That's obviously important as he approaches his 18th birthday. So, I mean, he's in an RTC. Is that just because that's all we had, the only place we had to put him, or was his level of care really demonstrative of that?
Your Honor, based on, this is a transfer case, but based on the information we got, and I talked to him 2 days after he was released from the hospital. So there are some issues going on. I anticipate his level of care is probably higher than basic,
Yeah.
and probably higher than moderate. I don't know exactly what that level of care is yet. But I believe there are some reasons that was the only placement available at the time of search.
Yeah, I mean, based on, of course, I went back, to read the affidavit in support of removal and all that, and I don't want to get into specifics on YouTube, but I mean, it did appear to me that there were some events that would indicate that he needed that higher level of care right now. So I don't want to be in a big rush to start looking for something a whole lot less restrictive, just because he would like that. We have a lot of kids that would like that, but okay. I just wanted to be sure I was remembering correctly. Okay.
Yes.
All right, then, I'll sign the status hearing order, and our next hearing will be, August 21st of 2025. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. Mr. Barfield, good luck. See what you can get accomplished.
And Your Honor, can we get a ruling on the child support medical support?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. Yeah, I will order that mom's child support and medical support would be redirected to the department. Made a great big note about it. I just didn't say it.
That's it. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank y'all.
And Brooks, I'll go ahead and just have a relinquishment sent over just so you already have it in case.
Yeah, that'd be great, because we have, for lack of a better term, for this situation, we have created a kind of a form letter that we have, and then I could actually include that
Okay.
with an explanation of what it is. We plan on getting that out certified mail here pretty quick.
Okay.
And we're, now that we have, and then of course we have that text feature at the office as well, which people tend to respond to very well. So yeah, I'd like to get on this because, if I can get her to kind of get involved in some way, I really would like to do that. So, I mean, because I don't think she's, based upon what I've learned and read, and I don't think she's, lack of better, I don't think she wants.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll get it to you. We'll try to get it to you today, so you'll have it when you get ready to send your letter out.
All right. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
We're here on a review hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties with live streaming. Ms. Cherry is making our record this morning. All right, we'll take announcements.
Todd Albee on behalf of the Texas Department of Family Protective Services. I'm present, ready to proceed. Your Honor, Heidi Elliott will give us an update.
Jerry Morales for the children, Your Honor, present, ready.
Okay. Ms. Elliott, what do we have new since you filed your court report?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
The siblings are doing really well on their placements. They've developed strong bonds with their foster parents. They're ready to be adopted. They feel at home there. They're doing really well in school, A's and B's. Jalissa's currently in soccer and she loves it, and Williams in boxing. He keeps them busy. This case is now will be assigned to our new adoption worker, so she'll be proceeding with this adoption after the hearing today. So hopefully in the next month or so they'll be adopted. That's what we're shooting for.
Such a long time coming, so I hope it
Yes.
comes around quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
And Judge, I will say it's very exciting news, and I think the kids are. This has definitely been the happiest they've been in any place, man, over the last several years. It just seems like they've adjusted very, very well.
All right, I'm thrilled that they're in a good place. I'm sorry to hear about a few little hiccups, but it doesn't
ma'am.
sound like it's anything that's disrupted the plan. And so it's one of those I can hardly wait moments.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anybody have anything else to report?
No, yeah.
Do they have a court date yet?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What is what do we have left?
Well, given the foster parents their subsidy packet, and they're supposed to be working on it. I followed up with the adoption worker, and she's supposed to be reaching out to them pretty soon to get that going.
So they're in that phase of negotiating subsidy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Could be a couple months, maybe.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, well, I just hope it goes as fast as it can go. So I'll continue the department as permanent managing conservator and continue their placement. And we are scheduled for another review hearing on October 9th of 2025. That'll be on a 9:00 docket, and the sun and the moon and the stars, and hope everything's aligned and we won't need that hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Keep us posted.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. This was
All
the
right,
only
well.
case that I had pending in your court this morning, so may I be excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Y'all have a good day.
The idea when they transfer to the adoption unit now is that the adoptions are consummated within like 60, no more than 90 days. So
Yeah, I kind of thought it was usually about something like that. So yeah, I just hope it happens quickly.
yeah, it should, because there's criteria that we have to have in order to send them to adoption. So a lot of the stuff is done except for the final stuff. So
Perfect. Well, I'm real excited for them. And really excited we were able to keep them together. All right, thanks. I had Mr. Morales logged in earlier and I don't have him now.
Judge, I do believe was he, oh, never mind. I'm thinking of the wrong case. I'm sorry.
What? That never happens.
No. Well, I was thinking that this was the case where the parents were terminated, but it's not. So I'm sorry. My apologies.
Everybody heard that, didn't they?
Hey, I'm quick to say I'm sorry when
I made a mistake.
I wrote it down for you in the date and time, Your Honor.
You guys are mean. You act like I don't accept my mistakes.
it's even on YouTube.
It's just you don't make very many. That's all I'm saying.
I do. I'm just so quick to admit it that it's forgotten quickly.
I guess. Yes.
That's a great strategy. I love it.
Yeah.
And then you move on and it never has to come up ever again.
I don't know if anybody's got Jerry's number. He was in his car, so he may have been going or coming from somewhere. But we had him just a couple minutes ago, so.
I do not have his number.
Okay. All right, then.
I've got his number, Judge. I'm seeing if I can't get him.
Okay. All right, then I'll go ahead and call cause number 931. We are here today for a review hearing after final. We are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We're live streaming. And Ms. Cherry is making our record this morning. Okay, who are you looking for? Mr. Trout, I failed to ask.
No, you're good, Your Honor. Tiffany Brown.
Ms. Brown, right here in the waiting room. Okay, we'll bring her in.
And with that, Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Tiffany Brown's my permanency specialist. We're present ready.
Vince Noack for Cameron Shelton. I am present. My client is not. I'm ready. And Jerry should be chiming in. There he is.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Judge, I'm here.
No problem. I knew you were close because we had you just a second ago. Okay. Ms. Zavala, go ahead.
J.C. Zavala on behalf of Indiana.
Okay. I have read the update. Ms. Brown, what do we have new?
Good morning, Your Honor. Since the court report was filed, I do believe Ms. Stotts has secured 2 new jobs. Also, I was in touch with Indiana School. It looks like her behavior has improved a little. They do want to test her for emotional disturbance, but there's some paperwork that they're needing from grandmother to sign off and return to the school. But other than that, everything's been status quo.
Ms. Brown, I know it's in the report, but just to talk about it a little today, are you having issues with parents complying with the orders from the final?
Yes, both parents have not drug screened since the final order was issued. Cameron Shelton has not started his family therapy with Indiana, but we have sent over the payment to pay for those services, as well as letting him know who to contact to set that up. Laquisha has completed inpatient. However, with the lack of recent screens, we would ask the court to give us an order for a UA and hair test for both parents today. And if parents come back positive, we would ask for visits to be suspended, as well as a subsequent OSAR to be completed by both parents.
Okay. When did Ms. Stotts complete her inpatient?
She completed her inpatient in February, not too long after the final hearing.
Okay. All right. So she's been out for a couple of months, but hasn't screened for you.
Correct.
Okay.
Her last screen was 1/15/25.
Okay.
Has she been asked to go?
Yes, ma'am. Every month I've sent her an email, including her attorney. In February, she says that she did not receive the email. But I let her know that her and her attorney were included on the email. In March, when I sent her the drug screen by email, I also included her attorney and the office assistant. Also, just asking how to get a hold of her, because at that time she was not responding to any emails of any sort. We did have a meeting at the office to go over permanency conference meeting. She walked out of that meeting, and I haven't heard from her since she last reported she's been working.
When was the permanency conference?
Permanency conference was in March. It was scheduled. She came with her mother, which is Indiana's placement. Grandma stayed. We were in the middle of conversation, and she asked her mom if she would be at her grandma's house after the meeting, told her mom she would meet her there, and she just walked out of the entire building.
Okay. And parents are currently having in-person visits?
They are. What's relayed to me is dad's visits are go over very well. We do owe him some time. Both parents, we owe some time from last week because of the Easter holiday, and the new permanency specialist was out of town and could not cover the visit. So we do owe them time from last week's visit, but they have been showing up for visits.
Okay. And visits been going okay on the ones they've shown up to?
Yes.
Okay. But our only concern is that parents won't drug screen for us.
Correct. And we're still concerned about Indiana's behavior in school.
Okay. So outside of requesting the UA and hair follicles on both parents today, are you asking for, due to lack of participation with the drug screens, are you asking to suspend visits until they drug screen for us?
Yes, sir.
And if the drug screens do come back positive, are you asking that you ask that subsequent OSARs be completed and visits don't start back until drug screens are clean?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else you're asking the court for today?
I haven't had this conversation with Stacy, but I believe grandma intends to change Indiana school next school year. So I didn't know if that would be an issue that we needed to address today.
Okay. We'll talk to Ms. Zavala about that, and then we'll see how to go from there.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. So the school needs grandmother to sign some things. What's that about?
So for special education, they want to do a testing for emotional disturbance. I talked to the disability specialist with the state, and that was the advice that they gave us when Indiana spent that 1 week in the alternative school, that we test her for emotional disturbance.
And is grandmother indicating she will sign that, or is there a problem with that?
She relayed to her kinship worker that she thought she had already did that, but that she would do it. I have not received confirmation from the school that that has been submitted. And that conversation we only had about a week ago.
Would they accept a court order for it?
I don't know, Your Honor. We can try.
So it's just to authorize the testing?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Okay, I mean, and my concern is that when I reviewed the court report, it appeared, I mean, things maybe have been a little better lately, which I'm really glad to hear. But it you know, it was very concerning reading the court report about the continued and deteriorating behavior of the child. You know, and particularly concerning because she's just 7. You know, so you know, I had some concern when I read the report whether or not mom and grandmother were, you know, cooperating or just blaming, you know, the school.
I think grandmother's doing as best as she knows how. She's her and her mother have taken turns going to the school and sitting with Indiana. I know that I watched the visit after Indiana was put in that 1 week alternative school, and when she talked to her mom about it, LaQuisha let her know that when she was in school, she spent time in that alternative school as well. So, and that's why I say they're doing the best they know how. And so that's why I pulled in the educational specialists to make sure we were covering everything that we could, to make sure that we're doing everything that we can for Indiana. I talked to her therapist. She is scheduled to see her twice a month, but she realized she's only been making it to at least once a month therapy. And that's just because of scheduling conflicts and whatnot. But
who has only been making it? The therapist
Indiana.
or the child?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I mean, I think those therapy appointments need to have like a very high priority in the child's life. What were the scheduling problems? Can you give me an example?
One example was the snow. Grandma had canceled the visit, anticipating heavier snow. The snow had cleared up by the afternoon, but by then she had already canceled the visit.
Okay, I can get that.
Yeah.
Other reasons?
Just forgetting. It's the same thing with the sibling visits. I know that when we started the sibling visits back after we moved the 2 littles to their pre-adopt home, they had missed a visit, and that's because grandma thought it was on another day, and so she missed that visit. So
can we set up a monthly calendar or something for grandmother that's got appointments, something that she can pin to the refrigerator or something to help her keep track of appointments?
yes. And I've also been more in touch with her kinship worker, just, you know, making sure that we're getting that special ed paperwork signed and whatnot. So
okay. Well, I mean, missing those kinds of appointments to me are just as critical as missing a medical appointment, because it is a medical appointment. It's just a different part of the human anatomy that we're talking about. And so, you know, missing therapy sessions when we've got a child that's got these kind of issues at 7 years of age is just like missing an appointment with the child's cardiologist, in my book. So I think we need to stress to grandmother how critically important those are.
yes,
You
ma'am.
know, we've got to get a handle on this kiddo, and we've got to get a handle on, you know, why she's acting out the way she is, and how do we start teaching her to cope with that. I mean, I just, you know, I think I know the answer to some of those things, but I don't know the answer to all of those things. So, okay. All right. Anything else, Ms. Brown?
No, Your Honor, it's mainly why I questioned if we should allow grandmother to move her to a different school next year or not. I know the school and grandmother have some history. So maybe if she does go to a new school, it might be better, not entirely certain.
I think it's a non-issue. If I recall, I believe this elementary school is one of the ones that's scheduled to close next year. But I as soon as I saw that list, I knew that that's where Indiana was. I've worked well with the school. I've got no issues with the school. I think they work well with you. But it's going to be a fresh start next year for her, no matter what.
Okay. So not we don't have to even make a decision about it. It's already been made. Okay.
Yeah.
Judge, I apologize for interrupting, but I believe Cameron may be in the waiting room.
Okay, he is. Let me bring him in.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Morales, anything on behalf of you and your client? She's here, so I didn't know whether you could see her, but she is logged in.
I cannot see her, Your Honor, but I think if I recall, she did report the same thing. I think she didn't, I don't know, for whatever reason, receive that email. I'll try better to communicate with her on top of the email back and forth to call her as a secondary.
Jerry, we're having a real hard time hearing you.
I'm sorry, Judge. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, we're hearing you right now.
Okay. I believe Ms. Dodson reported the same thing as far as not having received that email. And so I'll do better about making sure not only I follow up with an email, but I'll call her as well, especially when it comes to the drug screens, just to make sure that she's getting that. We've communicated about a lot of things, and obviously the appeal with the other case, she's had several questions on, and so that might have gotten missed on something that I needed a reminder of. So moving forward, when they get that sent to me, I'll make calls as well as just emailing her.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. All right, Mr. Nowak, your client, I've admitted, but it just says joining. So he's trying to log in again. So I'll keep trying to bring him in.
I can give him an update after we complete this hearing, Judge. Well, there he is.
Okay. He is in. I'm not sure he's got audio with us yet, but okay, he does now. Okay. So Mr. Nowak, then from you and your client today.
I don't have any questions, but I would like to thank Tiffany for always including me in emails, for always taking my calls at the weirdest hour of the day, and it's always good to see you, Tiffany. Thank you, Judge. I'll pass the witness.
Okay, and I would just direct everybody's attention to Ms. Smith's chat to everyone regarding this testing. So I concur that, it would be great if we could get this done so that they would have all of this at the beginning of the school year. Next fall. All right, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, I've spoken to the school. I actually was up there yesterday and met with Indiana. Yesterday was a good day. She was in a good mood. They did say that it was better. She and I have had some discussions about what starts that behavior, and she starts talking about other people making her mad. And so we've had some discussions about not giving away her power, not letting these people get her in trouble. They make you mad, you react, and you're the one that gets in trouble. You're giving them that power. I think grandma is reinforcing those types of messages, and it would be helpful if she hears the same things from her parents. Those visits with her parents are very important to her. And so I do very much worry about this escalating behavior in school and how that's going to affect her through her entire life. I apologize. I was up at the school. I didn't realize that paperwork issue was still out there. I should have realized, and I should have asked them about that. But with St. Francis as permanent managing conservator, it sure seems like we should be able to do some paperwork if we can't get that back from grandmother. I'll be happy to do a court order. I'll be happy to call, find out what paperwork they need from us. It sounds like grandmother seems willing to sign the paperwork. It's just a matter of getting it done. And it does with the end of school and change of school. We want that process started so that we don't have to wait until the beginning of school next year to start that process. So I'll be happy to draft some sort of court order about that. I'm
going to order it I'm going to put it in my order today. So if, Ms. Brown, if you'll get the exact, name or language of what the testing is, I'm going to essentially order the requested testing by the school, and I'm going to take Ms. Smith's suggestion, and I'm going to go ahead and order a psychological evaluation of the child so that we've got that in hand as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Zavala, I didn't mean to cut you off on, but I just.
No, that was about it. I think the school was working well with her, but it's going to be a non-issue. She'll have to be at a new school next year anyways. But she was having a good day. I sure hope that parents start cooperating and keep cooperating, because they are important to her. And she talks about those visits, and she talks about her parents. And it is going to be hard on her if those visits stop. So I really hope that they cooperate.
Okay, since I've got Mr. Shelton here, Ms. Stotts, do you have video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to order both of you to go drug screen today before 4 p.m. out at Care Express. You're going to do hair and you're going to do UA. Failure to do that is obviously going to be deemed a positive result. And if you fail to show up for those drug screens, I'm going to stop your in-person visits with the child, because I don't know. And if you come back positive, if you test and you come back positive for meth or for fentanyl, I'll stop the in-person visits, because that can be transmitted to the child by skin-to-skin contact. Now, but those two substances is what I'm talking about. I want to be clear with the department.
Your Honor, I'm actually in a training right now, and I won't be done until 5, so I can't.
Well, they close. What are you in a training for?
For work.
For what work? What job?
I'm healthcare. I work at Rest Care.
Can you be there by noon tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Okay, I'll order you to be there by noon tomorrow. Or Mr. Shelton, can you be there by 4 o'clock today?
That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Folks, we've been going down this road for so long now. I mean, I can't believe we're having this conversation again about y'all not appearing for drug tests, not cooperating with us. Do y'all understand that when I didn't terminate your parental rights on this child, I did so for a very good reason. And I did it because I felt like it would not be in the best interest of the child. I felt like it would be devastating to the child. And we're having enough behavioral problems as it is. So do you guys get the fact that failing to cooperate with all of us, failing to try to level this kiddo out, your non-cooperation is directly impacting the child? I mean, if I have to stop visits and then she's going to want to know why are visits stopped, and all of that is so hard on her, and you guys you're just piling it on, I mean, you're making this so much harder than it has to be. I mean, if you'll just cooperate with us, if we can just move past some of these things, if we can get her behaviors kind of leveled out and handled, then, my hope is that she can go home at some point in time. But you guys are keeping her on a roller coaster. This in and out, and well, maybe we'll do this and maybe we won't. And I mean, I don't know. Are you guys going to finally say the child comes first, and you're going to do what we need to do here to get this kiddo healthy and happy and on solid ground? Are we going to do that? That's my question. Anybody want to answer me?
That's a good time to say yes, Cameron.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, don't tell me that if you don't mean it, Mr. Shelton. I mean, I need to know. I've got a 7-year-old who has got behaviors that we typically don't see, until kids get way into their teens. I mean, it is very, very concerning. You all have a troubled little girl. And gee, I wonder why she's troubled. Because her life has been a roller coaster. She hasn't had stability. She doesn't know who she can count on. She doesn't know who she can trust day in and day out. You know, I didn't put her in that position. These people didn't put her in that position. The only people in her life that put her in that position is you guys. And I just don't understand. I'm not seeing, you know, I've given you an enormous second chance with this child. And, you know, I know you guys, you don't like the system. You don't like anything about any of all of us. You know what? I don't care. That doesn't keep me awake at night. What keeps me awake at night is the fact that I've got a 7-year-old who is on a path of destruction and on a path that is going to affect the rest of her young life and adult life. So we've got to get a grip on it. And if you guys aren't going to help us do it, then, you know, we're going to be right back where we were before. And these folks are going to be asking me to terminate your rights. Don't think we can't go down that path again, because we can. And we will, if it is in the best interest of this child. So I don't know what else to say to y'all. You know, quit being, I'm sorry, we're out on YouTube, but quit being pissed off at the world and just do what you need to do for this little girl. All right, I hope when I see you all back in October, which is 6 months away, I hope we have had a total 180-degree turnaround in our attitudes about this. Because if we haven't had a 180-degree turnaround in our attitudes, then, you know, I have to look a different direction for permanency for this child. That is my ultimate responsibility to her, is permanency, stability, health, and happiness. And if she ain't going to get it from you two, then I'm going to look elsewhere. Everybody understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Talk to your lawyers. If you got any questions about it, talk to your attorneys. They will explain it in greater detail. So, Mr. Shelton, you'll be there before 4 o'clock today to give us a hearing UA. Ms. Stotts, you'll be there before noon tomorrow to do the same. If you fail to appear or they come back positive for methamphetamine or fentanyl, I'm stopping the visits until we have clean UAs on both of you. I'm going to order the requested testing by the school, and I'm going to order a psychological evaluation on the child. I'm going to continue the department as permanent managing conservator. I'm going to continue placement, sign the order when it's presented, and I'll see y'all back October 9th of 2025 at 9 a.m. And we're going to have a whole different approach to this case. Okay?
Your Honor, one question. If anything comes back positive for any substance, can we order a new OSAR just so we don't have to call back into court if that's the case?
Yeah, I'm good with that. If we have an illegal substance other than what we've talked about, sure, I think another OSAR would be appropriate under the circumstances and the history in the case. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. I'll
Judge,
add it
just
to
for-
my docket entry.
Just for quick clarification, and I know you're running late, and I appreciate
No, it's
that.
okay. This is more important.
You just said about the substance that we talked about, if it comes back positive for marijuana, and I'm not suggesting it would.
Right.
I'm just
Right.
asking the question: would that trigger an OSAR?
That would trigger an OSAR
Thank you, Judge.
because of the history in the case. It would trigger an OSAR. So if they come back for any illegal or illicit drug, then that would trigger an OSAR. The only reason I'm stopping visits is if it's methamphetamine or fentanyl.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Ms. Brown, would you send me the name of what that test is actually called? That y'all need in the paperwork. Email that to me so I can write it in order.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Brown is filling in for Mr. Novak, so I wanted to try to get this done as quickly as possible because I think he's got maybe other places to be.
Yeah, and I don't think Mr. Nowak is on the other one, is he? He is not, so we could get this one kicked out and get Mr. Brown released.
That's what we're trying to do here. Okay. All right, I will call cause number 931. All right, we are here today for a review hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom. We are live streaming. Ms. Taylor's making our record. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Melinda Powell for the Department. The St. Francis Permanency Specialist today is Sean Ryan.
Gary Morales for respondent. Mother LaQuisha Stott, she is present. We are ready.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the children.
Brian Brown for Cameron Shelton, and I'm filling in for Vincent Nowak.
All right, appreciate y'all. Okay, let's get an update on Indiana since the court report was filed. I've read the report, so I know where we were, at least up to that point in time.
Indiana is doing really well in her placement. She has her behavior significantly improved in school. So that tells me her therapies are going pretty well, her individual therapies. She does have some outbursts here and there, but it is to my understanding that she talks to her teacher about when she does need, time to step away and gather her thoughts, things like that. But overall, I would say her attitude and things like that have definitely improved in school. So that's a positive sign.
Okay. Any problems in the home for grandma?
Not at this time, no, ma'am.
Okay.
And Judge, just for the record and the court's knowledge, and Daniel's here and he can correct me if I'm wrong. I was having a conversation this morning. I know that the other case has been set for mediation. I believe there was going to be a request to go ahead and mediate this one along with the other one as well. Is that right, Daniel?
Yes, if we could do that, Your Honor, that may work out best to try to get everything taken care of on all these cases. If we could roll this case in the mediation with the other one.
And Judge, we are definitely unopposed. I think that, we need to take care of all three kids.
I think that's great. And I think, I guess even more importantly, I think the Court of Appeals would agree with that.
And I believe we have they got a date set for October 23rd. I believe is going to be the date for the mediation.
Okay, great. I'm glad y'all got it done that quick. That's really great. No, I'm all in favor of that. Absolutely.
Okay, and I'm not sure that Vince was on all of those emails, but we can certainly let him know that that's the plan.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that he has contact with Cameron, so I don't know what to say to those issues. It's my understanding.
Yeah, I don't think he has. I talked to Vince for a second yesterday. I didn't bring this up because I wasn't sure if we were going to do this at that time. But I will reach out to Vince later today and talk to him about it.
Okay, let's just get him looped in as quick as we can since that's going to roll around in a hurry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ryan, and then anything to report with respect to parents?
New? I don't believe so.
Okay, nothing new since the court report.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me just couple quick questions. Has Dad started showing up at any more of the therapeutic visits with the child?
Since the court report was filed, I do not believe so. I talked to Beth Moss for an extended period of time last week.
That's his mother?
Oh, no, that's Beth Moss is the one that does the individual therapies with Cameron.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I spoke to her and she said that they've only done 3 up to date.
Okay.
Family therapy sessions.
I just was confused because the last I knew, I think Mr. Shelton was living with his mother.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sorry. I must have misunderstood the question. He is living.
No, you didn't. I just had the name wrong. So
okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Have you had any other contact with him recently?
Yes, he does stay in contact with me. Cameron does. It depends. Sometimes when I do go over, there's either to his mom's house to check on him. I do it normally once a month, and there's either nobody there or he's not there. He's been there a couple of times since I've been over to his mom's house to speak with him and everything. When I've been over to his mom's house, though, the most recent time, I was able to get let in this time, and she said that I was just reminding her that, Cameron's visit, I believe that's on a Thursday. Cameron normally has his visits on Friday. So I had gone in there and I had told her, like, hey, just a reminder that he has a visit tomorrow. It's going to be at 9 a.m. And there was a bunch of people in that house. I don't know who they are. I wasn't able to verify that either, but I did see 2 children and I did see 2 grown adults, and then including his mother in there as well. So I'm not quite sure who lives in that home.
Well, my real issue is trying to get Mr. Nowak in contact with him.
Oh, I do have Cameron. I do have Cameron's phone number. I could pass that along to Vince or give it to Daniel to give to Vince, whichever works best.
Okay, that'd be fine. Just shoot it to both of them, that's fine. Anything we can do to help him get in touch with his client so they might have some meaningful mediation would be great.
And maybe tell Cameron to call Vince. I think that may be the issue.
Okay. All right, Mr. Morales, anything to report today?
No, Your Honor, I was actually going to inquire of Mr. Ryan, but he looks like he may be frozen. But maybe he was just really still.
No, I can hear. I was experiencing some technical difficulties. I think it's okay now though.
Mr. Ryan, did Ms. Stotts recently complete a drug screen?
Yes, sir. She did on the 9th. 9/17. I apologize.
And were those results significantly lower than what they had been, and they've been gradually decreasing over the last few months?
They have. The levels, let me get the levels for you right here, sir. Give me one moment. So the levels for LaQuisha were 26. I can't find it for some reason. They were lower though, yes, sir.
Okay. I believe that's all I have, Judge. Those are my questions. And then I can give a brief update or record.
That's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Judge, after speaking with Ms. Stotts, I'd like to utilize the time that we have between now and mediation as an almost quasi-temporary order. I know this was thrown around, and I know Ms. Zavala said that she couldn't make the recommendation yet. I don't know if that's changed. And I'm not sure exactly what's going to go on with Egypt and Arrow, other than Ms. Stotts reports to me that she was told that they are looking at placing with her mother. That being the case, if that's what we're looking at doing, I'd like to see that happen sooner rather than later. And if the court is inclined on increasing Ms. Stotts' access, I'd like to see that to give us all an opportunity to see how well, especially Indiana's going to adjust, because she's had more of the behavioral issues and stuff like that. But if Ms. Stotts can be a daily presence in their lives, if she can help her mother with these kids over the next 2 weeks, I think that's going to be beneficial to figure out what we need to do in mediation instead of going into mediation blind. So we'd like the court to consider increasing her time on Indiana's case, which of course we're going to be asking for the same thing for the other two, assuming that the other two do get placed with her mother sooner rather than later. But that's all we have, Judge. She's been doing really well. Her numbers have decreased significantly, and she's awaiting anything else that she needs to do. And so that's where we're at, Judge.
And I'll get everybody's input on that. I will just tell you, Mr. Morales, my only concern, and not only concern, but a big concern about up and moving the kids is that we stand to lose a placement for those 2 children that they have been in for a long time, that they're adjusted and comfortable in, and not knowing what might be agreed or not agreed to at mediation. That just makes me a little nervous that we could lose what's been a long-term placement. And what if something blows up and then we got kids without placement and they could be separated, they could be even further away than they are. There's all those what ifs. So I'm just going to go on the record that is a concern.
Well, Judge, you may not recall, but we had this.
I recall. I recall all our discussion about it.
About the kids being moved?
I recall our discussion about we would start looking at that, and we would that idea is going to get knocked around, very seriously. But I don't know what has happened since that last hearing. So I'm going to want to know what has happened. And I'm just telling you, depending on what everybody else tells me, that would be a real, I don't want to, I don't want too much, too quick a knee jerk here. And then we lose what's been, a very comfortable home for two children that we might not be able to replace. So that being said, I do want to hear where everybody is on that.
And Judge, the kids were removed from their placement and then they were put in respite care.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
But and my understanding is that they're not going to go. I understand that they're not going to go back to that prior placement. I think everybody's agreed that that's not going to happen. But they are together. I guess I had the impression maybe they were familiar with respite care before they got placed there.
I don't think so, Judge. They were with,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
maybe
they
not.
and then they
not.
were only with respite briefly, and then they were placed again. So I mean, it's been quite a few little moves for them, and I don't know that they're really familiar with where they're at. I don't know that I would agree with that.
Okay. All right. I was thinking that, I don't know why I thought that they had some level of familiarity with that initial respite care, but that just maybe I just misunderstood. So, okay.
Judge, if I may, I think what happened, they were moved to the respite care sometime around the 1st of August.
Right.
The placement they're in now is that respite care. It was changed to a legal risk home. So they've been in this current placement for 2 months.
Okay.
Is what it is right now.
Okay. And I know there was some question about when they were actually moved and, and it's because you call it different things. It was initially respite, then it was placement. So, okay. All right. But it's, so they've had that one move and I just, anyway, that would be a concern about doing this right before mediation. But anyway, let's just hear what everybody's got to say about it.
And Judge, I was going to say, I know we're discussing the other kids. I don't know that you officially called that.
I did not.
So
I did not.
Okay.
So I'd like to let's stick with Indiana initially and get through that.
And I was gonna, you said you wanted to hear from people. I wanted to hear Mr. Ryan's opinion in regards to allowing mom in grandmother's home every day. How does St. Francis feel about that?
Well, mom is still testing positive for marijuana. And it's been every month as well. So I feel like that's our concern. In terms of the visits though, she does do well in her visits with Indiana. She interacts really well with her. She seems to, parent her very well too as well. She's done a lot of things like that during supervised visits that I've caught. And but like I said, that it's been 2 years since this case has been open and we're still testing positive. So that's a concern for me.
Mr. Ryan, do you have any heartache with her being in the home when grandmother is there? I mean, it would be supervised with her just assisting grandmother.
I would have to talk to our supervisors with that. My supervisor, Aaron Sessions. I'm not entirely sure. I know we have also done a visit. I watched a visit with them in the movies. We went to the movie theater the other day, and that seemed to be a success. That's not a everyday thing. It was more of a reward because LaQuisha has been compliant. Aside from like the drug screen issues, but like I said, she's been respectful. She's showing up to every drug screen. So I thought, and it was something that Indiana really wanted to do, and a movie she really wanted to watch. So I felt like that was a very and plus it's outside a visit house. It's more of a normal setting. So I feel like that was a healthy thing for both of them. But I would definitely have to have clarification with that. I don't think LaQuisha is a danger to her to be around, and I'm sure that LaShonda could supervise it, but I would definitely need to clear that with somebody higher up than me.
Okay, but I don't hear you telling me that that she would be, if grandmother's there and she's just over there either helping cook or get Indiana ready for an activity or, getting her ready to go to bed or whatever, that there's any danger in that situation.
If it's in Lashonda's household, I don't believe so.
Okay.
And if Lashonda's there, obviously, they're supervising it. But her being alone with Indiana, not at this time.
And I don't think anybody's talked about that yet. We've just talked about her joining in and assisting in the home. So, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Powell, any other questions?
Sorry, I lost my mouse. I couldn't get unmuted. No, Judge, I just wanted to make sure to get on the record St. Francis's feeling in regards to that request.
I actually do have a question with that. Would there be a specific time, like a time frame, like an hour or 2 hours, you know what I mean, that Lashonda would have a supervised visit? I feel like that would be a little bit more of a comfortable thing. Like for instance, LaQuisha goes over from 4 to 6 to Lashonda's house to help out with whatever, or in the morning, whatever the case may be. I feel like if there's a time frame that we know that she's doing that, I feel like that would be another productive for us as well.
That would be my preference, at least initially, and also out of respect for grandmother and her schedule. I'm not suggesting something where mom just pops in at will. I think it would, I think a scheduled time if grandmother needs some help, like a certain morning of the week or something like that, it's fine if she could go in the morning and otherwise maybe go in the evening. I don't have a problem with there being some flexibility with grandmother's schedule, but I think it should be a somewhat designated block of time at this point.
I guess I do have a follow-up question based on that. Mr. Ryan, have you ever had a conversation with grandmother regarding whether she would be willing for Miss Stotts to come into the home on a regular basis?
I have not.
And Judge, I mean, I know I can't provide testimony, but she came into my office and she wants that. She would enjoy the help and the time with Miss Stotts. She respects the rules and the boundaries, and I don't think that's been a problem at all, but she also supports her daughter and she has no problems with her being there. I can represent that to the court.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's.
My mother is.
Yeah, hang on just a second, Ms. Stotts. I'm gonna get to you. Just give me just a second. Okay, so anything else, Mr. Ryan, as far as updates?
No, ma'am, I don't believe so.
Okay. All right, Mr. Morales, then you and your client.
Your Honor, I don't have anything on my end. I think Ms. Stotts wanted to address something, so I'll just take that in whatever order you'd like.
Okay, Ms. Stotts, go ahead.
Oh, I was just letting y'all know that my mother was present if y'all had any questions regarding her stand on me being in the house for whatever time.
Is it any different than what Mr. Morales just told us?
No.
Okay. All right. So if we go that direction, then Mr. Ryan can work out those details with your mom and we can figure out how that best works for everybody. Okay. All right. Then Ms. Morales, anything additional today?
No, Judge.
Obviously no, but we'll take up the other kids here in a minute.
Yeah, nothing additional, Judge.
Okay. All right, Mr. Brown.
Yes, Judge, sorry.
Anything today on behalf of Mr. Shelton?
I've got these notes here. I don't think there's anything else to add that's not duplicative. It's just as we've already said, he needs to get in touch with his client needs to get in touch with him. That's the only thing you want to be get across.
Okay, yeah, we really need him to join in and participate in this because I think this mediation potentially could come out with some really, important resolutions for the family. All right, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, I met with Indiana at her new school. Before I met with Indiana, I spoke with the school. They report her doing very well, a marked difference from the previous school year. So I was really encouraged. I understand that grandmother has moved. If Mr. Ryan can just verify that address, I did get an address from Indiana. But she is doing very well. And at this point, I don't have concerns. I do agree that grandmother's position, when I have spoken with her in the past, and it's been a while, but has been very consistent with what Mr. Morales shared. I don't, at this point, have concerns with mom having additional visits with Indiana as supervised by grandmother. I do think it would be good for everybody to have some sort of schedule and guidelines and to know what that looks like. But at this point, I don't believe that would be harmful to Indiana.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Stotts, I just want to make clear as, as long as Indiana's living in your mom's home, remember mom's rules are the ultimate rules. So if your mother says bedtime is at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, that's when her bedtime is. I know you're her mother, but right now she's living in your mother's home, and as long as she's in your mother's
Right,
home,
of
placed with
course.
your mom, your mother's rules trump. Okay.
Right, of course.
Okay. All right.
And Judge, we probably need to go ahead and get an order for mediation on this one as well.
Yeah, I'll have Miss Katie do the order.
Okay.
She may have already done it while we're been in this hearing, but I'll make sure she does the order in this case as well.
Great, thank you, Judge.
Yeah. Okay, then, I'm going to continue the department as permanent managing conservator of the child. I will continue her placement. I'm going to let Mr. Brown, Mr. Ryan, work out kind of a new contact schedule so that mom can be over at grandmother's house supervised for, say, a couple of hours. I think several days a week would be appropriate. And if y'all work it out where it's a daily thing, I'm okay with that too. But the object is to help out grandma. So we're going to just say we'll increase mother's visits in grandmother's home. As that is scheduled. And our next review hearing in this is scheduled for April 2nd. Obviously, I'm going to order y'all to go to mediation, and that was on the 23rd of October. With the sibling case. All right. Okay, we will jump over to Arrow and Egypt's
If
case.
the issue of the prospective adoptive parents' divorce arises, I'm handling that divorce pro bono, and we should have it wrapped up within 28 days, if that comes up.
That is great news, Vince. I've signed an agreed order. I think we're good. I had heard that, and I'm excited about that. I'm hoping that adoption can go forward, but we've signed an agreed order. We're not going to have a hearing on it, but I sure appreciate your help on that.
Which
Excellent.
case is that, Stacy?
Rosales.
Oh, okay.
And with that, and with the court's permission, I will exit the virtual courtroom.
Absolutely. My apologies for my rant.
Judge, it's you know what? I almost sent Rachel an email saying it's good to see Judge Baker. Thank you, Judge.
I don't think any apology was needed for that.
None whatsoever. Y'all have a wonderful day, and thank you very much, Judge.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
One child, one now 18-year-old, one young adult. We are here today on a review hearing. we are conducting this through Zoom and we're live streaming, and Ms. Cherry is making our record for us. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Taylor McDonald's here as my permanency specialist. I'm present, ready, Your Honor.
And I think there's a different permanency specialist for Lila. But
It
I'm not-
is. It changed recently, and I'm trying to figure out. I can't remember who that was.
I think I know. We need a second.
I think it's Christy Ashley. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Heck, she's in my waiting room.
Okay, yes, I think that's it. I'm sorry, I realized it was Abby, and she left a couple weeks ago, so I got to figure out who's new to it.
Okay, we're bringing her in. Okay, so let's talk.
Taylor is on Gabby's case, and Christy Ashley is my permanency specialist on Lila.
Okay.
And then Stacy Zavala on behalf of both of the girls.
Janelle Garrett with CASA.
All right. Ms. Gomez, did you announce? I didn't hear you.
My understanding is the attorney ad litem for the children and Stacy is the guardian ad litem.
Okay.
And I had forgotten, I had asked for Lila because at one point previously, what she wanted was not really what I believed was in her best interest. That's actually changed since then. But I had totally forgotten I had requested to split that, but I think it was just for Lila.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, well, let's take up Gabriella first, since she has turned 18 and we have her as a young adult. So let's just discuss her first.
She is still placed at Children's Home. She's doing really good there. She graduates in May. She goes to prom on May 12th, and she showed me her dress. She's very excited about it. She's doing really good though. She wants to go to tech, so I've been talking to her case manager about getting that application in, and she wants to stay in the dorms. And so Children's Home does have a SEL program at the dorms there, so I've been talking with them so we can get that arranged so she can start that in the fall. She's going to go for her basics right now, and then she wants to look into a veterinarian program. But she's doing really good. She's still taking her medications. She's still going to therapy. She's very happy and also sad about graduating, but she is on track and doing very good.
Okay. Just couldn't be any better.
Mm-hmm. She's very happy. Yeah. She's always happy.
Okay, great. Send me a picture of her in her prom dress.
Yes, I told her to send me some too. Her dress is so pretty.
All right then. So on Gabby, Ms. Vol, anything else to report?
No, I'm just so proud of her, and she's got a great team in Taylor and Will to help her through this transition. I'm excited for her. I think she's doing great.
Okay, CASA.
My advocate that just started on this case went and saw her a couple weeks ago. She was very happy to meet her. She's doing great. And like Taylor said, she is wanting to go to Texas Tech and stay in the dorms. I'm just really happy that she's made it this far.
Okay, sounds great.
All's good.
All right, how about Miss Lila?
I went and saw Lila on Tuesday. She's doing very well. She would like to set up arrangements to watch virtually the graduation for Gabby. So I did send Jennifer an email to try to get that set up. She said that she wants to do what she needs to do to continue to level up in her current placement. And we did recently get a TARE inquiry on her, so a selection staffing will be being set up for that.
So have we turned a corner, you think?
It was my first time to meet her. Abby transferred the case to me about 2 weeks ago. So right now I can only go off of what she's telling me. I haven't heard that she's doing anything inappropriate from the placements, and I've been in contact with them. So hopefully we're turning a corner.
Okay. Does she know about the interest on TARE yet or not?
Yes, ma'am. And she was very excited to hear that.
Okay. All right. That might be some motivation and encouragement.
Yes.
All right. Okay, then Ms. Zavala, anything to report additionally on that?
I'm very proud of Lila too. She is saying the right thing. She seems to be engaging in services. She's having regular contact with Gabby. And I'm thrilled that that's being set up for her. I feel like she's headed the right direction, and I'm really excited about that.
I'm glad she's having contact with her sister. I think that could be a real motivator too. And,
Yeah.
and an awesome example of what can be done and where she can end up. So good.
I'm sorry, I misspoke and said I sent an email to Jennifer, but I meant that I had sent an email to Taylor about the graduation situation.
Okay. All right. And Ms. Gomez.
I agree with Ms. Zavala's analysis on my client.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ms. Gomez, because of her age and everything, I'm going to leave you in play for a while, even though, right, at this moment, she may be on board with best interest and all that, but her history has been, it's been a little up and down. So,
yes, ma'am.
Zavala, are you comfortable with us just leaving things alone for right now?
Absolutely. The more people in her corner, the better.
Okay. All right. I agree with that. Okay. And CASA have anything else to report on Lila?
And she is, like everybody has said, she's really turned the corner. She did have a little bit of problems, in the beginning, causing drama, but she is getting much better. I know that she struggles not being with her sister or being around her sister, but I think that she has kind of accepted it now. So I'm really happy that somebody is looking at her on TARE. I did not know that she had been picked or there was a selection, but I'm excited about that. That will hopefully give her some more incentive to do what she needs to do.
All right, great. And just to be clear, Gabby signed extended care, correct?
Yes, Judge.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, then on obviously on Gabby, then we're going to extend the jurisdiction at the young adult's request. We will have, and then on Lila, I'm going to continue the department as PMC. And we'll continue her placement. And then we'll review both girls again on July 24th of 2025 on a 9 o'clock docket. Okay. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, for the next 3 cases, I anticipate that there's going to be information about the children that I would not like on YouTube to protect their privacy. I can make that motion for each particular case, but I just wanted to let you know that I have those concerns for the next 3.
Okay. All right, I appreciate it.
I've got no objection, Your Honor.
We're here today set for an adversary hearing in this matter. We are conducting this through Zoom. We are live streaming right now. And like I said, I'm recording to the Zoom cloud as I don't have a reporter. So if anybody needs a copy, let me know and I'll make it available. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements and then I need to address Mr. and Ms. Ellery.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Haley Joint is my representative from the department. We are present, ready, Your Honor.
Stacey Zavala on behalf of Michaela.
All right, thank y'all. And Mr. and Ms. Ellery are both present today. Okay, Mr. and Ms. Ellery, I know in the past you have had Mr. Terman representing you. I don't know whether you intend to retain him to represent you in this case or not, but I do have to, by law, I'm required to admonish you that you do have the right to have counsel represent you in these cases. If you can't afford to hire your own attorney, and if you qualify, I can appoint an attorney to represent each of you. If you, I'm not sure what your intent is about that today. So before we proceed any further, I sort of need to know about that.
I'm not real sure at the moment. I know when we had contacted him, he said that he was busy with pavilion cases currently. So I'm not
Our
really
intention
sure.
is to have him represent us
Yeah.
moving forward, Judge.
It is.
Yes, he's just not able to be present at this time.
Okay, we haven't gotten anything from him saying that he was gonna represent you in the case, so I don't know whether you all may not have officially met with him, retained him, and, done all that, so. Are you comfortable moving forward today, or are you wanting to reset this hearing until Mr. Terman is present?
It's not the first reading.
Yeah. I think we're comfortable with going ahead and.
Yeah, we can progress forward today, Judge.
Okay. Do you want to visit with Mr. Trout, who's, of course, the department's attorney, and maybe Ms. Zavala, who's Michaela's attorney, for a few minutes to see if you all, can reach an agreement about today's hearing? Or, otherwise we just launch into testimony? I mean, the circumstances of the case.
Yeah.
Generally, are such that a lot of these, it's an agreed, order to the, or an agreement.
I would like
to
to
name
get on the same
parties.
page with all involved parties. That sounds good, Your Honor.
So you want to visit with the two of them for just a minute?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. Okay, let me set up a little breakout room where you all can talk privately.
Thank you.
Like I said, we are on YouTube, so. Okay. All right, I'm gonna assign you all to room 1. Okay, and you can just say join.
Thank
All right, then. Okay, Mr. Trout, what do we need to do?
Judge, Mr. and Ms. Ellery would like to reset and have Mr. Terman represent them. The department has a request that I notified them that we would be requesting of the court, and they would like to talk to Mr. Terman about it beforehand, or an attorney that they're going to have with them before they proceed.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. We can look at some dates, but we'll have to be able to confirm those obviously with Mr. Terman. Miss Katie, what, ideally, I know I'm out Tuesday, so we're not doing anything Tuesday and Thursday, I think is already really stacked up, if I recall. Or was I
Yeah.
thinking today?
You might be thinking today, we would have time on the 1st,
Okay.
but I'd have to confirm with him about his mental health docket to make sure he could even do next Thursday. Because I think those are the days that he does it, are Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay. So I guess the thing to do is maybe let us try to get in touch with him and see, of course, Mr. Ellery, you all need to officially retain him and everything so he can file an answer. But I guess we can send him an email and just see what he says, and then we'll try to get a date to set it. We may have to try to set it on one of our, what's not one of our normal Potter County days, which I won't bore you with the details, but it's tricky because we have to coordinate that with other courts and potentially court reporters and all that. So anyway, I think we'll just let us see what we can figure out, and then Ms. Katie will send out an email to everybody about the reset date. So we'll just leave that open until we know something more.
Yes,
But it will definitely be 7 to 14 days. So, okay. All right, then, we'll get back to you and let you know when that's going to be.
And Judge, can I speak to Ms. Jorant and Tasia? Ms.
Sure.
McIntyre in the room real quick?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Ms. Ellery, you all are free to go. All right, thank you. Get in touch with him as soon as you can.
Thank you.
Yeah. I hope I'm saying that halfway correctly. All right, I'm gonna put them, you can correct me, please. Please do. We are here today for a request on court ordered services, and we are conducting this hearing through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We are currently live streaming, and I am recording to the Zoom cloud. I don't have a court reporter this afternoon, so if anybody needs a copy, let me know and we'll make it available. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Eugene Graff and Zoe Atkinson on behalf of the department, present and ready to proceed.
Stacy Zavala, appointed for the children.
All right, and Miss Riley, you were muted, but you were present on behalf of the mother.
Judge.
Camp Fumi.
Yes, Judge. Tracy Riley appearing on behalf of the mother.
All right, then, we also have present with us today, Ms. Holiday. Ms. Holiday, my understanding is you are with the Navajo tribe. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. The intake social worker with the Navajo Nation.
Okay. All right. And I think you've spoken with Mr. Groff about the case, so you understand that this isn't a conservatorship case. At this point in time, you know, the department's not asking to do a legal removal of the children.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
I was, yeah. Thank you.
Sure. I have no problem with you, you know, sitting in and participating with us. That's perfectly fine. Okay. Then Mr. Groff, you have witnesses to call, or have you all had a chance to visit or talk about the case?
We haven't, and so I guess I would ask if I could just have a moment to speak with Ms. Riley. We're prepared to proceed, but I don't know if we need to. We just need to, I think the attorneys just need to touch base.
Okay, let me get the attorneys assigned to a breakout room. I'm going to put you all to room 2.
Okay.
I'm going to put Ms. Vala in there.
Your Honor. This is Reba.
Yes.
I just want to also mention that I did talk to Mr. Eugene. I did indicate that if they could send the ICWA notification or referral indicating just so that since there's a petition, that would be, I did touch base with him about that. So I just want to let you know that. Thank
All
you,
right.
Your Honor.
Judge, with your permission, I'm just going to mute and make a quick phone call to confirm something, and then I think we'll have a resolution.
Sure, no problem.
Judge, we have an agreement. My client agrees to the safety plan and to the order to participate.
Okay. All right, very good. We'll get this on the record here. Okay, then, Mr. Groff.
Thank you, Your Honor. And just to memorialize this on the record before we circulate the order, what I have listed, and I'll just ask Ms. Atkinson, just correct me if I have anything wrong on this. We're asking for a drug and alcohol assessment with following any recommendations for treatment and drug testing. I understand mom is expecting, so there may be some accommodations in terms of how the form of the testing takes place, but with the safety plan and meeting with my client, I assured Ms. Riley I thought we'd be able to work out any potential speed bumps that we might encounter with regard to that. But then parenting classes, mental health evaluation, counseling, and then a family-based service assessment with following recommendations for any services that may come out of that. But at this point in time, it seems that mom is motivated. It was actually, she was the one who requested help that got us involved. So I'm confident that we'll have follow through and success in this case.
Okay. All right, Ms. Riley, that sounds like what you all have agreed to.
Yes, Judge. I know that, you know, my client has been having some physical issues with the pregnancy on top of the issues. So I know that the agency has expressed that they're willing to work with her with that and make sure that things head in a positive direction. So yes, my client agrees and wants to move forward with these services and get them done. And I think she met with Miss Atkinson, I think it is, about the safety plan, and I think she signed it.
She did.
I don't know if I'm, yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Ms. Zavala, this is good with you?
Yes, Your Honor, it does sound like this is in the best interest of the girls. I do want to let mom know my role and that my office will be contacting her to come out and meet with the girls at some point in the future. So I just wanted wanted her to know that. My assistant Kelly is the one that will reach out and schedule that visit with you.
Okay. Yeah, so just so mom, so you know, I mean, it's really important when Ms. Zavala and or her assistant need to meet with kids, take a look in on things, that you be sure and respond to her calls and so that she can talk to her clients just like you talking to your lawyer. And so it's important you know who she is. All right. Okay, then. Anybody have anything else?
No, ma'am.
All right, then I will follow the agreement that's been reached and order Ms. Company to work the requested services. And we will have a compliance hearing on this case on July 15th of 2025. That will be on a 9 o'clock docket. And we'll, of course, circulate a new link for that. Ms. Holliday, we can try to make sure that you get that. And so I appreciate, of course, any assistance you all can give the family. And so, we're here because we want to help and try to keep things, on the right track and not get further afield. So, Ms. Confirmee, I wish you good luck getting started on things, and I appreciate your cooperation today. All right. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Unless
you,
you're
Your Honor.
staying with me for more hearings, everybody's free to go.
No, I'm done. Thank you, Your Honor. I will see you next time.
Okay. Good to see you.
You too. Thanks.
Yes.
Before Daniel and Stacy Zavala log out, can we talk about that adversary we're trying to get reset this afternoon?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I mean, just after this hearing, but before they leave, I just wanted to make sure no one just booked it after.
Okay. Nobody go anywhere fast.
Yes.
I'm outta here.
Thank you.
So I don't get to be fast on the trigger, Rachel.
You do
Hey, no,
not.
you're not fast. You're not fast on anything.
That is true.
It's just not part of his DNA.
Nope.
Okay. All right. I brought everybody in that I had in the waiting room on the Jones adversary case. You all need to visit, or are we kind of ready to go on this? Mr. Hill, thank you for standing in for Ms. Archer. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, unless Mr. Hill needs to speak with me, I received a signature from Ms. Archer. As far as mom, my understanding, mom was in agreement today. The only thing we would need is to take short testimony as far as there's an unknown father named in the case. I don't believe we've gotten a name or somebody to look at this point, but there would be testimony as far as that. But other than that, I think we're good.
All right. And Mr. Hill, is that a fair assessment of where we're at?
I believe so, yes, Judge, in my conversation with Ms. Archer, and then also reading the case file that she gave me.
Okay. All right, then, Mr. Trout, I'll let you call your first witness.
Oh, Kathy Jones, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Jones, if you'll raise your right hand for me. As always, do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. You may proceed.
Ms. Jones, would you state your name for the record, please?
Kathy Jones.
And Ms. Jones, how are you employed?
I'm a supervisor with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
And you were supervisor for the investigator that did the removal on this case?
Yes, I am Sadie's supervisor, yes.
And the investigator is out currently?
Yes, she's on leave.
Okay. And in your staffings, did you also review the file on this case?
Yes, sir, I have.
You heard us announce that mom is in agreement today, correct?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. As far as dad, during the investigation, did we receive any names of possible dad on this case?
Mom declined. She indicated to Miss Hodge that she knows the father, but she has declined to release the name.
Okay. So at this time, there's been an unknown father pled into the case.
Yes.
And to the department's knowledge, we have no name or birth date or anything to look at to try to track anybody down, correct?
Correct. There's no information known.
Judge, Daniel, I'm very sorry to interrupt everybody. May I have a breakout room with my client for just a few minutes? We may be able to shed some light on that issue for everyone.
Okay, all right, and you know, just as a reminder, if we're gonna get into something that's sensitive, or in some sort of sensitive nature or very personal nature, then you know, the court will always entertain a motion to close the courtroom.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Hill, I'm gonna put you to room 3. Ms. Jones, Carrie Jones, you're gonna get a prompt to go to room 3. You can say join.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Judge, we're back, and my apologies for the interruption to everyone. I don't think I have any information to share at this point.
Okay, Mr. Hill, I appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Trout, you can resume.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor. And I wasn't going into any more questions after that. I just want that. So I'll pass the witness at that time, Your Honor.
All right, then, Mr. Hill, do you have any questions for Ms. Jones?
No, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Zavala?
No, Your Honor.
And
All right.
Judge, just one follow-up with Ms. Jones. Ms. Jones, you're asking today for the court to award temporary managing conservator to the department, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's based on mom's agreement and having an unknown father at this time.
Correct.
You believe that's in the best interest of the child?
Yes, I do.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor. Thank you.
No questions.
All right. Mr. Trout, any further witnesses?
No further witnesses, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, Mr. Hill, any witnesses to call today?
No, ma'am.
All right, and Ms. Zavala, any witnesses to call?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Zavala, do you have a recommendation?
Your Honor, I apologize. Can I have just a moment?
Sure, absolutely.
Your Honor, I apologize. I am back. I just have a quick question for Ms. Carrie Jones.
All right. Ms. Jones, if you will, please raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
All right, Ms. Zavala, you can go ahead.
Ms. Jones, did you have a recent in-person visit with the child?
Yes, I visited her last week and this week.
Did
I'm
someone
sorry.
Did someone come with you to that visit?
On the first visit, yes.
Who was it that came with you to that visit?
So he's my current boyfriend now, and he wanted to be on the birth certificate, but we decided not because because of my own personal situation with CPS, and we want to make sure that it's something we 100% want for the child later on. And so if we're a healthy relationship down the road after I have Debbie back, he wants to legally adopt her.
Okay, so when you came to that visit, did you tell someone that he's the father of the child at that visit?
No, that everyone knows that he was just gonna that he's not on the birth certificate and that he's just my boyfriend.
Okay. I passed the way.
I never gave anyone.
Okay. Mr. Trout, do you have any questions?
Judge, with that line of questioning, Ms. Jones, is who came to the first visit with you, is there any way that person is the father to this baby?
No, he's not.
Okay,
There's no way.
okay. Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Hill, did you have any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Zavala, anything further?
No further questions of Ms. Jones and no other witnesses.
Okay. All right, counsel, I'm gonna, on the court's motion, I'm gonna stop the live stream. I've got some questions for Ms. Jones. And, this may go a little further than what I'm comfortable being out there on YouTube.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody have any real heartache with that?